Folks, it's another Saturday episode of the old Terranadome. Of course, my name is Scott. I have Josh Morris back on the show with me as he has been every week during the NFL playoffs. And speaking of the NFL playoffs, we will do a recap and extensive analysis of the conference championship games that were played last Sunday on today's show. And after that, we'll touch on a few things that we haven't in quite some time, albeit briefly, but we will talk about the struggles of the Boston Bruins and the Boston Celtics. However, the term struggle is sort of relative with the Celtics. And finally, we will throw a little dirt on the Boston Red Sox, who claimed that they were going to be spending the luxury tax, and just another season of Sam Kennedy lying through his teeth to the fan base 4 years in a row now. So we'll get into that as well at the end of the show. It's the Terranadome. It's all new, and it starts right now. The Terranadome. Minnesota was doomed from the start. I mean, this was a ass whooping. There's nothing short of that. It was a complete ass whooping. But I will tell you what, my friend, nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. And it is time to get them back in the AFC Championship game. I believe that, listen, you're right about Derrick Henry, especially in cold weather. No one's going to want to tackle that guy. So it's going to be imperative for the Buffalo Bills to jump out early in this game and get a lead and force Lamar Jackson to have to play from behind. They can do that. They're going to win this game. Mention things that we love to hear, like we're getting the entitlement out of our team, and we're going to earn the opportunity to come into this building every day. I absolutely love that. One thing I will say for sure, yes, they definitely need to go and spend some friggin' money. They're going to have the most cap space in the league, and I'm going to kill them every week on this show until they spend money. The Terranadome, and it starts right now. Well, welcome into the show, folks. Once again, it's the old Terranadome. We're doing it on a Saturday once again this week, but we'll be moving back to the midweek shows very soon. In fact, I think as soon as next week, we'll be doing that. But anyway, it's by the way, Josh Morris on the show, buddy. What's up?
How are you, Sarah?
Oh, just great. Yeah, love doing these after working all day on a Saturday. It's a lot of fun. So we had the conference championship games. I know they were 6 days ago, but maybe some people have been under a rock or they want to get our perspective or whatever. We seem to have a bit of a following on the YouTubes at this point. And yes, I do hear you out there that are asking for 2 episodes a week, and I would love to get back to that sooner than later, but I'm gonna need your help if we're gonna do that. So just keep that in mind. Like, subscribe, share, and tell as many people as you can to subscribe to the channel. And just click on and watch the episodes for me. That will go a long way in getting us back to 2 episodes a week. But doing this thing is not as cheap as you would think. So it's not as simple as just sitting down, recording, and then putting it up. You know what I mean? That there is actually overhead here, at least if you want to do something with it. Anyway, that's my spiel. Anyway, let's get into it, Josh. You called this one last Saturday when we did the show. Philadelphia is hosting the Washington Commanders. I took the cheese. I thought Washington had a real shot to win this game. I went as far as to pick them in this game with the over. And you said, not only do I think Philly is going to win this game, but I think they're going to put that there's a good chance they blow them out. And they didn't just blow them out. They beat the ever-living bag out of them. Philadelphia 55, Washington 23. So I will give you your flowers in just a little bit here. I can see you grinning ear to ear over there. You can, yeah, you know what? Whatever. This is one of those times where I'm going to look foolish on my own show. So this is good. So anyway, let's kind of get into it, though. I feel like the tone was set in this game pretty early on, like really early on. First drive of the game, Washington uses 7 minutes of clock. They get the ball first, obviously. They have to convert 2 fourth downs, 17 plays, and they only go 48 yards, and it ends up in a field goal. All that time, all those plays for a 34-yard field goal, they lead 3-0. The first play of the game for Philadelphia, and it's Saquon Barkley for 60 yards to the house. And right there, you kind of had a feeling that's how that game was going to go. What did you think at that time?
I thought exactly what I said Saturday was true, is that no one can stop Saquon Barkley.
Especially not this rancid rush defense of the Commanders. So There it was, 7-3 right out the gate. One play for Philly, 17 plays for 3 points for Washington. Boom. Next drive. Theme of the game here also, by the way. Washington fumbles it away just short of midfield, and 6 plays later, what happens?
Saquon again, 2 for 2.
Saquon Barkley from 4 yards out. By the way, Jalen Hurts was actually pretty good in this game throwing the ball, 3 for 4 for 41 yards on the drive. Philly has a 14-3 lead with 3:43 left in the first quarter. Looking bleak right out of the gate for Washington.
It
Now,
never felt like Washington could really get back in this game.
not really. They made it somewhat close, a little at one point in the first half, but yeah, we'll unfold that here in just a little bit. But field goal, Washington gets a field goal just barely into the second quarter. They cut it to 14-6. Next Philly possession, they take up just under 6 minutes of the clock, and it's a 54-yard attempt by Jake Elliott, which was actually missed. Washington gets it back 5 plays later, and it's a 36-yard touchdown by Terry McLaurin, who made 3 defenders miss on a slant route. Beautifully run after the catch all the way to pay dirt. It was 14-12, folks. We have the ball game. We think we have a ball game at that point, maybe. But the Commanders missed the 2-point conversion. 7:05 left in the first half, 14-12 Philly. But again, simply put, and then again, credit to you for this one, my friend. The Washington defense was simply no match for Philadelphia on this day and in this game. There were no match for them. Philadelphia would eat up another 5:15 o'clock and score on one of about 15 tush pushes in this game. And if you want to complain about the tush push, there's room to do that in this episode, my friend, because this was over the top ridiculous with the tush push stuff in this game. And it's a 1-yard touchdown by Jalen Hurts and his buddies. And it's 20-12 Philadelphia with 1:45 left in the half. They would actually be stuffed on the 2-point conversion attempt tush push, though. So that's cute. On that drive, Hurts made a beautiful back shoulder throw to A.J. Brown, who beat Marshawn Lattimore for 31 yards. And later, Lattimore would commit a pass interference penalty in the end zone to set up the Hurts touchdown. At that point, we have a 20-12 game. And what does Washington do right after that? They fumble the ensuing kickoff right back to Philadelphia. They recover it at the Washington 24-yard line. A complete disaster for the Commanders. 8 plays later, with a 10-yard penalty on each team mixed in, it's Hurts to A.J. Brown for a 4-yard touchdown. It looks like it's an early death blow by Philly at that point. Just 43 seconds left in the half. They've already scored 27. It's 27-12. Washington manages a quick drive at the very end of the quarter, thanks to Jaden Daniels and Zach Ertz. They end up with a 42-yard field goal. It's 27-15, but it's still looking pretty bleak for my Washington Commanders. And at this point, you must be thinking what?
I'm thinking there's no chance the Commanders can win this game. And you made the comment about the turnovers. That shows a young team. A young team that's not ready to be on this stage. They're a little flustered. They're kind of ahead of themselves. They're just kind of trying to make plays. And sometimes when you do that in this league, you end up making too much of a play and you shoot yourself in the foot. And you can't do that against a team like Philadelphia, who kind of feeds off the turnovers. Like we've talked about it, how their defense, their plus minus on the takeaways is huge, and they kind of thrive off that.
Right. So, Washington gave them 4 extra possessions in this game.
Exactly. And when you can't tackle Saquon Barkley, like I'm pretty sure that 60-yarder, no one even touched him. Like it felt like he just moved right.
No, I don't believe so.
Yeah. So it's like when you're having that much trouble as it is, you can't be given extra possessions. They're just so vital. And Brady even made the comment like in the booth that like in the playoffs, those extra possessions are, exponentially amplified.
Yeah, everything's magnified in the playoffs. And I don't even think that it's not poor coaching by Washington. It's just that I think the moment was maybe a little too big for them after all. And you wouldn't have thought that it would have been after what they did the week before up in Detroit. You would not have thought that, but that's what ended up happening. At that point, we kind of knew it was over for Washington, but you still got to go second. You still got to talk about the second half, right? So second half starts off Philly punt, Washington punt, then Philly. Next drive, Jalen Hurts goes 3 for 3 for 49 yards. He gets a 9-yard touchdown run. It's 34-15 Philly. Washington would answer back with an 8-play, 70-yard drive, and Daniels ran it in from 10 yards out. The 2-point play to Zacchaeus was good through the air. Washington's not rolling over yet, but they would. It's 34-23 with 5:01 left in the third. That is the end of the scoring for the Commanders on this day. Next 2 drives, Philly punts it. And Austin Eckler fumbles at midfield at this point. That's 3 turnovers for Washington. And, midfield recovery by Philly. They would get a 1 yard tush push TD on that drive.
Penalties?
What's that?
Was that the one with all the penalties, or was it the next one?
Um, that was the no, that was the one with all the penalties. I don't know why I didn't put that in there. Probably because it was
It's
just
nauseating.
it was ridiculous. The whole thing was, and I don't blame Washington for trying to make a mockery out of it either. By the way,
Good.
I
I'm,
thought
I'm
that
hoping. I'm hoping in the Super Bowl, Philadelphia runs it 50 times, so the competition committee can finally get rid of it. It's the dumbest play in football. We're not playing rugby. We're playing football.
we're
I
not.
don't. want to-
Yeah,
Go ahead.
sorry. No, I cut you off. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I am so sick of watching 11 guys push one guy. It's ridiculous. The defense can't do anything about it. The defense isn't allowed to stack guys and push. They're not allowed to do that. But the offense can. Like, that's how desperate the NFL is to make this an offensive league. Like, it's not my fault that you don't have enough teams that can actually score points and move the ball down the field without you guys ushering them to the end zone. Like, I don't want to see this BS. I want to see real football. It's nauseating.
It really is, and I don't think that too many people out there disagree with you, to be completely honest. And there's only a few teams that actually run it, and no one runs it like Philadelphia does. But you call it a rugby scrum, which it does look like. But what I would say is this looks like something you would run in youth football, like little 8 to 10 year old kids would do this. And it's not a real product. It isn't. It's not a real play. So. Yeah, let's hope they run it. Let's hope that they do it a bunch of times and they win that Super Bowl.
Yeah, because then Kansas City will go right to the competition committee and saying they can't run this.
Well, what happened when Kansas City lost to Brady in overtime in 2018 in the NFC Championship
They
game?
changed the friggin' OT rules.
Overtime rule got changed. Isn't that cute, isn't it? So let's see what happens. But this was ridiculous. So I give Washington credit for intentionally doing encroachment and Frankie Louvu jump in the center like 3 times in a row. That was hilarious to me because it is a mockery and it should be. So anyway, unfortunately, they do score the touchdown after all of that. Then Washington gets it back. They turn it over on downs. Philly gets another 4 yard touchdown run. I think that might have been Barkley's third of the day at that point, I believe. Washington then throws an interception. And then the starters are out because at that point it's 48-23. And Will Shipley comes
down
in.
their throat.
And what's that?
They still get the ball run down their throat. Shipley ran for 70 yards.
He ran for 77 yards on the drive. All they did was hand the ball off to Will Shipley, who's a rookie. And he scored. He runs I think it was 4 carries for 77 yards, and he scored on his last one for his first career rushing touchdown. Washington at that point waves the white flag. Kenny Pickett kneels it down twice. Philadelphia rout 55-23, the final in the NFC Championship game. I don't know the last time we had a conference championship game that ended up like that. So flowers for Josh here. Accurate, not only predicted that Philadelphia would win this game in a blowout, he also said that Washington would not be able to stop the run. And here is what Philadelphia did on the ground. 36 carries, 229 yards, and not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, 7 rushing touchdowns in one game. For perspective, the Dallas Cowboys had 6 rushing touchdowns all season long. Credit to you, my friend.
That's
the
a great
floor is yours. Isn't that a great stat? The Dallas Cowboys only had 6 all year, and Philly had 7 in one game. Take it away.
I mean, I really don't want to because I didn't want Philly in the Super Bowl.
Well, neither did I, but I mean, you did accurately predict it, so I feel like I
did. I do want to go back to the tush push. In the comments, let us know how you feel about it. Because, again, Scott said it. I don't think we're the only ones that feel this way. I think most people are kind of like, this is so stupid. But let us know what you guys think because I'm so sick of watching it. And, again, we're going to have to watch it in a week from now when they run it probably 4 or 5 times. And, what'll probably happen is the refs will say, no, he didn't get the first down and come and respot the ball. But I'm getting ahead of myself because that's next.
You're previewing the next game, so we will get to that. But some box score stuff, and yes, absolutely. Comment. What are your feelings on the tush push or the brotherly shove or whatever stupid crap you call it? Box score stuff, though. Jalen Hurts, 20 out of 28. Good in this game. Not great, but 20 out of 28 for 246 and a touchdown.
Should we
Also,
talk about the comments he made?
sorry,
Should we talk about the comments that he made after the game?
you should probably talk about them because I don't remember what he said.
So I don't know if you heard this. After the game, the reporters asked him, like, with his stats, he'd thrown the ball a little better than he had in last. He said, they finally let me. I think the words were out of my cage, out
Hmm.
of my cage, which caused a lot of discourse on like the talk shows and stuff like that because it's like, what do you mean the coaches let you out of the cage, man? Like you've been missing guys wide open, you've been hesitant to throw the ball. Like that's just such an indictment on your coaching staff when you really should be looking inwards. You have two of the best skill players on the edges in football. And Dallas Goedert's no scrub either. And then you have Saquon in the backfield. Like I don't want to hear nothing about how, oh, they let me out of my cage. Like, if you come out and lay a dud in the Super Bowl now, you're really going to look like an ass.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like an ass anyway because it's a team sport. You win as a team, you lose as a team. You do what the coaching staff asks you to do. You're not a world beater as a passer, and everybody knows that. So, and honestly, 28 attempts in a game. I mean, it probably would have been more if Washington was in the game, but I don't know. I don't know if you let you out of your cage and you only throw for one score. I'm not really sure I'm that impressed with you, to be honest, Jalen Hurts. But keep having your head shoved firmly up your own ass, and just do whatever you want, I guess. So he goes for 10 carries, 10 tush pushes, basically. With I think there was one that wasn't for 16 yards and 3 rushing touchdowns for him. Saquon only had to carry the ball 15 times in this game. He had 118 and 3 scores of his own. Dallas Goedert, 7 catches for 85. A.J. Brown, 6 for 96 and a touchdown. Devontae Smith, 4 catches for 45. Flip side, Washington, Jaden Daniels was not bad, but really, he was kind of running around all day in this one. Philly really got after him pretty good. Didn't really hit him that much, but just made him uncomfortable in the pocket consistently. 29 out of 48, 255, a touchdown and a pick. Only ran it 6 times for 48 yards. He did score on a 10-yard run that I mentioned earlier. My ball, Zach Ertz, 11 catches for 154, or 104, I'm sorry, and on 16 targets for Zach Ertz, who I believe he said will be back in Washington next season. And Terry McLaurin, I think, should have gotten more than 7 targets and certainly more than 3 catches, but 3 catches for 51. And a score for him, Josh. Washington, 4 turnovers, 9 penalties, and 4 for 6 on fourth down. Philadelphia, no turnovers and 459 yards of total offense. To me, to close this one out, and I'm including Buffalo in this statement because technically we haven't gone over this yet, but Philadelphia absolutely looks like a team that is more than capable of beating either Kansas City or Buffalo, whoever they should face. Kansas City, but to me this looks like a team that can absolutely win the Super Bowl. So, I believe you said it before. I believe you came around on this even quick earlier than I did a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I believe you asked me, and I said yes, and you looked at me and went, "Why?" And I told you because they have Saquon Barkley.
That's yeah, right. Because for the entire season, you didn't really believe in them and said they never
No.
really beat anybody, and that's sort of true, but you can't say that anymore. So, um, yeah. So Philly advances to the Super Bowl, of course, which will be on Sunday, February 9th. And now the Buffalo Bills travel to Kansas City, the 2 seed Buffalo Bills at the 1 seeded Kansas City Chiefs. And Josh, the box score was almost dead even for this game. Buffalo only had one more penalty than Kansas City. That doesn't tell the whole story, though.
I
Buffalo, no, it doesn't. Buffalo receives opening kickoff, goes 3 and out. Then Kansas City goes 90 yards and 9 plays in 4 minutes and 59 seconds. Kind of an indicator of how it was going to go for the Buffalo defense. Big play on the drive is a 31-yard catch and run by Juju Smith-Schuster, and Jabril Peppers was not a fan of that. Kareem Hunt, 12-yard touchdown run, 7-0 Kansas City, 8:56 left in the first. You see, that was a Freudian slip to Jabril Peppers. Do you know the Jabril Peppers and Juju Smith-Schuster thing?
mm-mm.
You don't know what that's about? Jabril Peppers got like arrested. Like there was a situation with a girl and some Tony Ayo, and he wasn't
Heard
happy
about
with the girl.
possession. Heard about possession.
Yeah, well, turns out Juju was texting the girl while she was with Jabril Peppers. So that's what was going on there. That actually came up in court, like official transcript. Pretty hilarious. Okay. Next drive, Buffalo 10-play drive. Tyler Bass makes a 53-yard field goal. 7-3 Kansas City, 3:49 to play in the first. No real effery going around yet here, but it's about to happen. Next drive, Mahomes fumbles, recovered by Buffalo, but a defensive offside penalty bails Mahomes out. But
A
three
very
plays
close
later,
offside. It was very close.
it was very close, but 3 plays later, Mahomes fumbles anyway. And the guy
All
who
them
got
alive.
Yeah, and the guy that got called for the penalty was the guy who recovered the fumble. So good for Ed Oliver. This would be the only turnover in the game for either team. Ensuing possession, Buffalo. It's 10-play drive capped off by a 6-yard touchdown. Josh Allen run 10-7 Buffalo. 10:25 to play in the first half. Now, before the Chiefs go on their little run here, what are we thinking at 10-7? Or is it still too early to tell? Or what's your feel for this game? Because it got away from me a little bit as this game went on.
10-7, I thought, okay, yeah, we're looking pretty good. I think, Buffalo looks good. That first possession touchdown, I think I remember texting you and I was like, oh God, this is awful. And then right as I texted you that, they showed a stat that they've let up a first down touchdown in like their last 4 games. So I was like, all right, we're on par for the course here. And then their defense really did seem to settle in for a little bit. And I was like, okay, we got a chance. And then all hell broke loose.
Wheels fell off the wagon at that point. And I've been saying for weeks that no one circles the wagons quite like the Buffalo Bills. Unfortunately, just a little bit too much to be up against in this one for them. The next Chief possession is an 11-play drive, 3 catches for Xavier Worthy, including an 11-yard touchdown. There was a controversial catch call earlier in this game that I'm not even going to spend time talking about. We've got other controversial crap to talk about. Face mask penalty, the play before that set up the Chiefs at the 10-yard line. Kansas City's back in front, 14-10, 14, 4-13 left in the first half. Next drive, Bills go 3-and-out. Chiefs get it back at the Buffalo 34 after a 41-yard punt return, and 6 plays later, they punch it in again. Extra point is good. 21-10 Kansas City, 155 to play in the first half. Buffalo, it already looks like it's maybe starting to get away, but remember, Chiefs have not scored 30 points in a game all season long to this point. So maybe there's a shot they can come back. Well, in the 2-minute drill, Josh Allen goes 4 for 5, 59 yards, including a 34-yard touchdown strike to Mac Hollins, a
Dart.
white guy with cornrows. I'm sorry.
That was a dart.
Yes, it was a great throw. Allen was pretty good in this game, I thought. But there's only so much you can overcome. Two-point conversion fails. 21-16 Kansas City leads at the half. It's a lot better than 21-10 though. Third quarter, Chiefs punt after killing 5 minutes of clock. Buffalo 10-play 80-yard drive capped by a James Cook touchdown. I thought they should have ran James Cook a lot more in this game than they did. But he ends up scoring from I think it was 4 yards or 5 yards out. He had 5 carries for 45 yards on the drive. They missed another 2-pointer, so it was 22-21. Buffalo's in front. 2:56 left in the third. Did we think for a second that they were going to hold that lead for the rest of the half?
No, no.
Not a chance. So next drive, Kansas City punts. Well, Bills start the next drive at their own 30. Game changes over to the fourth quarter. And here we go again. Here we go again with the officials and the Kansas City Chiefs. So, 3rd and 3 from the Kansas City 43. Josh Allen hits Dalton Kincaid for what looks like to you, me, and probably everyone else, a 4-yard pickup and a first down, an obvious first down.
Clear. Very clear.
And the officials decide to spot the ball a yard short of the line. So almost.
Now my question is, Sean McDermott, what are you doing?
Why
are we rushing up to the line? Challenge.
Yeah, that's where Sean McDermott being a dumbass comes back to bite the Bills, because if anything, you slow down and you take the time to get a replay in from upstairs, and somebody says you better throw that damn flag. And
like they're worried about subbing. Like they're worried about the defense subbing. Like, no, you should be worried about not having to go for it on 4th down.
I don't know how they missed the fact that they clearly picked up a first down. The official spots the ball 4 or 5 feet short. So what ends up happening is they do their own tush push, and Josh Allen looks successful. Okay, from the replay, you can see that it looks like both of his jersey numbers are over the line to gain. The football's in his left hand, so it's got to be a clear first down, right?
Wrong.
Not so fast. Buffalo does not, and again, I have it in here. They didn't even challenge, but they did on the fourth down play.
which was weird because that was supposed to be like an expedited review. They actually reviewed it. Like they went, but no one challenged it. This was like an official
It was
replay.
that replay assist thing or whatever it
But
is.
usually the replay assists,
And they still got it wrong. Yeah.
yeah, but usually they're quick. Usually they're pre-done and they're like, all right, yeah, replay assist came in and told us. No, they actually paused the game and like went to a review, which I've never seen happen in the middle of a game where it wasn't challenged by a coach and the replay assist wasn't like already predetermined. No, they actually stopped the game and said, okay, we're going to review it. And I'm like, what? What do you
That's
mean you
what
have to review it? Like, you have two guys, one guy coming in with a clear first down, the other guy looks at him and says, hey, this is the Chiefs. You can't do that. Like, it was blatant.
yeah, it's everything always gets muddied down and inconsistent with Kansas City. It's just it's that's the consistency with this, and it's been like this all season long. So basically, long story short, even Gene Steratore up there in the CBS booth, a former ref that was never, would have, Gene Steratore was one of the more controversial refs out there for a long time. Even
Yeah,
he said that they got it
cards.
wrong. Sorry?
He's the one with the index card.
Yeah, I don't remember that, but he was.
Oh, he called the first down like using an index card in between the ball and the chain.
Oh, well, that's cute. That's a cute story. But yeah, no, even usually when the official that used to be a referee in the league says that they got it wrong, they got it wrong because those guys usually always have each other's backs. And Gene said that they got it wrong. They got it wrong. So Buffalo ends up losing it. They turn the ball over on downs, and of course, naturally, the Chiefs score 5 plays later, and it's Mahomes doing the hero BS with a 10-yard run. The 2-pointer's good. 29-22, airs out of the balloon, 10-14 left in the game. But Buffalo did not give up, to their credit. They marched right back down the field 9 plays later. Josh Allen to Curtis Samuel, 4-yard touchdown, 6:15 to go, 29-29 after the extra point. But Kansas City proved too much to handle for Buffalo. In the end, they drive the field again. It's a 35-yard field goal. 32-29 with 3:37 to go. Defense would hold on the next drive. Buffalo turns it over on downs with 2 minutes left, and that effectively ended it. 32-29, the final. The Chiefs do score 30 points in a game, as it turns out. And Josh Allen is now 0-4 against Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. And I don't know if it was, I think it was you, but you're not the only person I said it to. But Josh Allen effectively is starting to look like Phillip Rivers in an awful hurry. Maybe this is the new Brady Manning. I hate saying that because nothing will ever top Brady versus Manning to me. Maybe I'm a little biased, but this is Allen can't get by this guy in the playoffs, and it doesn't help that he's not only does Mahomes have 10 other guys lining up on that side of the ball with him, but he's got another crew of about 6 guys that are willing to help him out as well. So Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce on the celebrating on the field after the game, all that crap. Chiefs going back to the Super Bowl for the 5th time in 6 years. 32-29 in the final. I'm not even going to do box score stuff on this game. Depressing. I will say this though: James Cook only ran the ball 13 times for 85 yards. Buffalo could have done a better job, I think, of controlling the clock in this game if they wanted to. And oddly enough, Josh, they fumbled 4 times in this game and recovered all 4. So I guess there's a little luck involved with them too. But I don't really know what to make of it other than it's like, here we go again with the Chiefs. And yes, again, I have to admit, I know what the rest of you all felt like when my Patriots were in the dance every single year practically. So, um, anyway, I haven't let you do a lot of talking here, so give me your thoughts on this one. Bring up some stuff that I probably missed pointing out, and let's see what we can do.
Yeah, I mean, I think that fourth down really, like you said, air out of the sail, air out of the sails, and it just kind of it. If they score there, the tide of the game is completely different because they're going to waste more time off the clock. And if Mahomes does go ahead and score and they tie the game, most likely Josh Allen is getting last possession with a chance to win, not a chance to tie. And that was huge. That really was such a big play. And it was so blatant that they missed the third down. And then the fourth down was fairly obvious that he got it. So it's like it's so sickening to see a game get determined like that. Like that's not what any of us want to see unless you're a Kansas City fan and then you put your blinders on, you're like, "No, you clearly were short." Like or, we have stuff like that happen to us all the time. It's like, "No, you don't." Like
Oh,
what have you been watching for the past 3-4 years? You don't have penalties that go against you like this. So it's and you said Josh Allen, like he's handcuffed, man. His skill players are not very good,
no.
and he's out there. He's going crazy for them, and I think Joe Brady tried to let Josh Allen be a little too much of Superman, dude. If you have Cook going for 85 yards on less than 20 carries,
13.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, what are you doing?
I don't
He's
know.
got at least 7, 10 more carries in the tank there.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't think Philadelphia is going to do what Buffalo did. I think Philadelphia is going to run the ball 25, 30 times.
Easily, because
Because
I
I
think,
think that's the weakest part because Spagnuolo can't blitz to get out of it because that's what Spagnuolo does when he's in trouble. He blitzes, he sends all the pressure
yep,
and makes the quarterback be the hero.
yep.
Well, Philadelphia is not going to give you the opportunity. They're going to make your front seven beat their front seven. Well, their front six.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, we saw it in the Houston game. I mean, Mixon ran for 88 on 18 carries. I mean, and Houston doesn't have that great of an offensive line. That is the one place you can get the Kansas City defense. But if you're gonna sit back and throw it 35, 40 times, and we know Philadelphia won't do that.
No.
But that's what they want you to do because then yeah, they can send all sorts of so you say he does it when he's panicking. It is true. That's what Spags does, but he also does it very effectively, right? So I mean, because they have the personnel to pull it off. So you don't
Yeah,
want
they
to put it
have
into
the
their
back
hands.
four. They have the guys in the back to be
Yeah,
able to cover for the 3-4 seconds because if you're blitzing, you got to get home. If not, they're going to get beat. But they always seem to get home. Chris Jones is a game wrecker. So it's like if you got him and you're blitzing other guys,
yeah.
someone's going to get through.
Yeah, Jones makes guys like George Karlaftis look awfully good. That guy is making his living because of Chris Jones getting doubled every play.
Mm.
It's definitely going to be a good matchup. I think I hate to say it, but this is probably the best matchup we could have gotten out of last weekend. Maybe I don't know. It wouldn't have been. I don't mean like for the fact of the appeal of the game, right? I'm just
No, no,
talking
like
about. I'm just
X's and
talking.
O's.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's just you're just talking about X's and O's and individual and 11 on 11 and everything. This was the best game you were going to get,
Yeah, because
unfortunately.
I think Philadelphia would have killed Buffalo.
Yeah, yeah. I
Like
think so.
they
I
they
think
couldn't
so.
stop Pacheco. Like never mind, or they wouldn't have never stopped
Couldn't
Saquon.
stop Kareem Hunt either.
Yeah.
So no. I listen. I agree with you. Buffalo. That you make a point, a great point actually about the Bills that really nobody talked about, right? Like I didn't hear any media outlets or any national talking heads really talk about the fact their skill position players outside of Cook, frankly, are below average, like closer to the New England Patriots than people think. And Josh Allen is elevating a lot of these guys here, right? Khalil Shakir, and Mac Hollins, right? And doesn't help them that Dalton Kincaid really hasn't developed into what they thought he would be either through 2 years. He took a step back from his rookie season. So, and on the defensive side of the ball, I always think back to that Rams game, that they played, back in November, I think early November, where they let up 48 points on the road in that game. And I always just kind of thought, well, this is going to be what keeps them from going to the Super Bowl. Um, Case in point, Kansas City hasn't scored 30 points in a game all season, and Buffalo lets up 32. So the Bills are going to be back in that spot again. I have a feeling. I don't think that their window's closed. And we didn't even mention Amari Cooper, but Amari Cooper, after he got traded to the Bills, didn't look like the same guy. I think he maybe lost a step this year. So I mean, we'll see, but I do think,
Skill players. I was going to say the corpse of Amari Cooper
yeah,
because
Amari Cooper's it's like Chad Johnson in New England, man. It's not, I don't think it's working out there. So,
Yeah, and you would have thought by getting traded to Buffalo, he would have felt like, all right, yeah, I'm out of that dump. You know what I mean?
You would, but I don't think it's always up to the receiver. I mean, you obviously know that there's different terminology, there's a different style of offense.
Well, and then he also got injured, like right after he got there. He missed like 2, 3 weeks or whatever it was.
I think he
So
was injured when he got there. I know he scored in his first game, but I don't think he was 100% when he got there, you know?
yeah, and well, I think then he got injured again because he missed
Yeah.
multiple games for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And like their rookie first round pick, they traded down. They could have had Xavier Worthy, but instead they ended up with Keon Coleman. And
Oh,
I'll be honest, Keon Coleman really didn't have that great of a season. So
no. The
uh,
number he wears on his jersey, that's what he was this year.
that's pretty much he was pretty much. Let me take this one away. He was this number. So
Yep.
it's the number he wears. Um so interestingly enough, Josh, we're gonna move on from that. We have got our Super Bowl. It will be the 1 seed in the AFC, the Kansas City Chiefs, and against the number 2 seed in the NFC, the Philadelphia Eagles. It should be a good game. I really think it will be. It certainly was a few years ago.
I don't
Um,
think it'll be as high scoring as it was a couple of years ago, though.
I don't either. I don't, and I think both teams are better on defense than they were a couple years ago. Philadelphia for sure. I think Philadelphia is absolutely loaded defensively. Nobody really talks about it. So, um, I'm kind of looking forward to the game. I do have a bet in. If Kansas City wins that game, I'll make a decent clip of money. Because I had an exacta bet with those two teams when the playoffs started, so I got that at a good price. So we'll see. But anyway, speaking of bets and picks, after 3 rounds of the playoffs, my friend, do you know that we are tied in our
Eddie,
picks? We are dead even. Josh, you got Philadelphia right. We both got Buffalo wrong last week. I was 0 for 2, and I'm embarrassed to say that I actually picked the Commanders to win that game. I am a fool for doing that. And I might go, you know what? Conventional wisdom and everything you've looking at what the officials is going to say. And we're not doing Super Bowl picks this week, folks. We're doing another show. Like I don't know when we should do it, but next Wednesday or Thursday, we're going to do another show. And we're going to go over all our picks from this season. And then we're also going to, the picks we made before the season started. Let's see how we did, right? That'll be a fun one. And then we'll make our Super Bowl picks then. But I think I'm going against the grain on this one, so we'll see. Um, but we both went 7-5 so far, so we were doing real good, and or I was doing real good. I was pretty happy with 7-3, and then so. But yeah, anything else you want to add about the setup for the Super Bowl here and what we saw conference championship weekend? And then there's going to be just a couple of tiny little items that we want to briefly hit on, and then we'll close the show out pretty quick.
yeah, no, I think like we were saying earlier, I think X's and O's wise, this should be a really good game. Both defenses are highly capable of limiting what the other team does well, but I think Philadelphia has the edge because they have Saquon Barkley, they have a great offensive line. Like I don't think scheme wise they're phenomenal, but when you have Saquon Barkley, it really doesn't matter. The guy just seems to do incredible things.
Yeah, he's the best in the game right now, I think. I don't really think there's much.
It makes you wonder if he wasn't with New York, what his career arc would look like.
Yeah. It's kind of a shame, really, because he got robbed of his best years physically, right? So I know he's still only what, 27?
But that doesn't leave you a lot as a running back, you know?
Not really, not unless you're Derrick Henry and you're 245 pounds and you're just
Yeah.
built differently.
Built like an offensive lineman.
Yeah, but Barkley's more of a prototypical running back, and
Ooh.
probably got 3 good years left in him. I mean, he's a Hall of Fame talent. Maybe he goes further than that. We've seen guys like Frank Gore go a lot further than that, for example. But generally speaking, 30-31 is about where the fall off happens. So I am with you. I am looking forward to this game. You kind of are bringing up a good point about the defenses. I probably shouldn't have went with the over, but we'll see. We'll talk about that later. Folks, that is our NFL talk. There's only one game left in the season. We've been doing this for the last 4 months, really going on 5 months now. It's been a lot of fun. We haven't talked much about any of the other teams in town or any of the other sports. So we're gonna kind of I'm winging it here. I'm not gonna lie to you, but we're gonna do a little brief little wine session on the other 3 teams in the New England market right now, right? Also, and if I may, New England Patriots are building quite a coaching staff around Mike Vrabel. I'm very, 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 very positive about this at this point. And of course, there's still people out there saying, well, why didn't you do this for Gerard Mayo? Why didn't you select these coaches? Blah, 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 blah. It's not that simple, dumbass. Mike Vrabel has connections because he coached 99 games in the league. Moron. Idiot. He's also like 14 years older than Mayo. Idiot. But anyway, looking forward to what the Patriots can do. Of course, doesn't matter how great your coaches are if your roster sucks. So I can't wait to see. It's going to be a long offseason, but at least I'm feeling pretty good about that. Josh, I'm sure you haven't watched much, right? But the Boston Bruins are a pretty low-hanging fruit to pick on right now, okay? So we're going over to hockey now. My Boston Bruins, they are 25, 22, and 6. They are also currently playing right now. I do not know what the score is. They are playing the Rangers at home right now. Bruins 25, 22, and 6. That is well below 500, and they are 5th in their own division. They have the 22nd best scoring offense, which is another way of saying the 11th worst. And they have the 26th scoring defense, which means they have the 7th worst scoring defense in the league. They have a goal differential of minus 28 in 53 games. Josh, my friend, it is time to blow this thing up. Get rid of Neely. Get rid of Sweeney. I've been saying it for months. Get rid of Sweeney. Bungle, 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 bungle. Guy can't draft. Can't sign free agents. How are they in cap jail with this crappy of a roster? Oh, and by the way, they've allowed 13 goals combined in their previous 2 games. And those are both losses. I should really, in fact, let me go ahead and let's call this up right now because I'm willing to bet that they're losing right now too.
No, they are up 2-1. I'm sorry.
No, that doesn't fit my narrative. Tell me JT Miller at least scored the goal for the Rangers.
I'm sure.
It was JT Miller. Bang. All right. Nah, he's on my fantasy team. Sorry.
But I'm sure it's only the second period, so I'm sure.
They do most of their crapping their pants in the third period.
We've watched it together a couple times.
Yeah, usually it's when they tie a game somewhere in the third period and then they let up like 3 in a row. That's what's happened the last couple games. So, were you with me when I hit that parlay? Were you here for that? No, you weren't. That was a different day. All right, yeah, that was this week. That was this past week. Yeah, 4-legger, 250, not bad. Yeah, I think it's time to blow it up. And the one thing I would say with the Bruins is please don't trade Marchand. Just don't do it. Don't do that. Don't do that thing. Don't piss off this fan base any more than it already is. Trading away your captains. I get that he could help somebody right now, but he doesn't want to leave here. You don't want him to leave here. You want the same thing that you had for Patrice Bergeron. He spent his whole damn career here, retires here. That's what it needs to be.
I agree.
Thank you. Now, I know they ended up getting rid of Chara at the end, or they basically said, hey, Chara, we don't really need you around anymore. We're going to let these kids play some. He's actually back in the front office now, I find that kind of interesting. That also tells me that they're probably, here's the problem for me. And I'm ranting a little bit, and I'm realizing I'm going on a spiel right now. And I'm kind of all over the place, so bear with me. But it signals to me by bringing Chara into the fold that there's no way that Neely and Sweeney are going anywhere. And I'll tell you why. And people don't realize this when they say fire Sweeney, but they don't say fire Neely. They are a package deal. They played 8 years on the ice together. They were roommates. That is a package deal. You're not going to ever fire Sweeney without firing Neely. The owners have to make that decision, Bruins fans. That's the only way it works. Hate to say it, but it's the truth. Otherwise, this guy would have been gone probably 2 or 3 years ago. So I don't know if you want to add to that or not.
No, you're spot on. Unless it comes from the top, because they're gonna go together. That's just how it's gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not the way business should be run. But sometimes when you get into bed with your friends, that's what happens.
Yeah, well, yeah, it makes you. I think it makes you lose sight of the overall goal. Sometimes I think it can make you. I had a better phrase, but I lost it. It's in here somewhere. But yeah, you can't lose sight of the fact of the overall goal. And the bottom line is this guy has not gotten it done, right? So I think that's how it's got to be. So we'll see with the Bruins. Trade deadline's not, I don't think it's till the first week of March, so they got a little bit of time there. But to think that they should be adding to this team is crazy. There's
No.
no point in adding to this
They're
team.
just kind of meandering. Like that's just they're just kind of there.
It's one of those. It's. I think we said this with the Pittsburgh Steelers when they got knocked out a few weeks ago, but it's a similar problem. Not to cross sports, but it's a similar problem where you're not good enough to win anything, and you're not bad enough to completely blow it up and rebuild. But I think they're a lot closer to that than they are to being a winning team.
It reminds me of, again, to cross sports, but people here in Boston will understand exactly what we've watched for the past 2, 3 years with the Sox. Like every year you come up to the deadline and you're there, you're hanging around, and then everyone wants us to add, and then we just kind of meander. And it's like when we should just say, well, let's just blow it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think it's a perfect analogy, but yeah. And the only reason I say it's not perfect with the Red Sox, this will be a nice segue into the Red Sox right here too. But I just think with them, I think they were closer than the Bruins are right now. It's at least the last 2 seasons, the Red Sox really were like one or two pieces away from actually being in the conversation, right? To be able to make a postseason push.
Especially last year. I thought last year they were a lot closer than they were the year before.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right about that. They definitely were. And unfortunately, kind of in both cases, they did a half measure, just like they're doing this offseason. Right now, it's half-assed,
Hmm.
it's half-baked. And what ends up happening is team kind of quits on you a little bit. I do think that has something to do with Alex Cora, by the way, because they definitely respond to what his attitude is. So we are, folks, by the way, we're now segueing into the Boston Red Sox. Boston Red Sox still have a fairly high payroll, but it's like 12th in the league. High dollar value payroll, but it's still like 11th or 12th in the league. They're not
And how
spending
many guys are actually on the team?
yeah, well, right. Yeah,
Right?
right.
Because we're still paying guys that aren't even playing.
Yeah, they're still paying Pedroia, and I know they're still paying Dustin
And I think they're
Pedroia.
still paying Sale, are they not?
They ate some of his salary, I think. Yeah, that sounds right. They're still paying Manny Ramirez, I think, for 1 or 2 more years too.
So
So
it's like 12th, but it's like how many guys are actually in the clubhouse?
right, which makes it worse. And you have Lion team president Sam Kennedy once again, who's like, "Oh no, we're gonna spend to the CBT. Yeah, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. It's all a bunch of BS. It's a different catchphrase every year, but it's the same crap. Don't tell me that Alex Bregman's coming here because he's not. And I almost feel bad for that guy, but well, give me a break. He's he's going to end up making $150 million. So I don't really care.
What
But
Red Sox fan wants him here anyway?
no, they don't. He was part of that cheating d bag trash
No one
can
wants him. He
Astros.
probably get booed as soon as he got here.
I don't know, but the weird thing is he wants to come here. Like by all accounts, like he's buddies with Jared Carabas in the Section 10 podcast crew. He wants to be here, but yet these idiots, like I actually don't think you need him because of what's coming through the system. But we always say not every prospect pans out. So you're not willing to go more than 4 years. Guy's only 30. I know his bat's not what it was when they were banging on a trash can, drumming on a street light down there in Houston. Yeah, that was a good Doug reference. Um, I don't know, man. I go for the 5th year for this guy, but supposedly he turned down 6 for 156 from Houston. So now I kind of think he's going to Toronto. But Red Sox fans, don't delude yourself. Alex Bregman ain't coming here. Listen, they haven't even given an extension to the guy that they traded 4 prospects for. They still haven't done it. Okay, which means they're not going to.
They're not gonna.
They're not going to. And here's what's going to happen. He's going to go out.
Play out this season. They're going to see how he pitches. Can he make a full year?
But here's the thing.
Then they'll probably go to arbitration.
I don't know if he's arbitration eligible or not.
And then
Yeah,
squabble over 500K.
unbelievable. But like, dude, just you got him. He's 26 years old. He showed the stuff to be a frontline ace.
Easily.
Last year, they heavily managed him. Like I said, I had him on my Dynasty League team. I ended up trading him for Christian Campbell this offseason, by the way. Love Christian Campbell. But aggressive move by me. But here's what's going to happen because they're the Red Sox and they don't get ahead of this stuff like every other team has been doing lately. He's going to go out. He's going to throw 180 innings. He's going to strike out 240 guys with like a 3.25 ERA at worst. And then you know what I mean? And then you're going to have to give him 200 million. And they don't
Mm.
want to do that. And then if if that's the case, then why did you just give up four prospects for the guy if you're not going to pay him? It makes no sense what they're
I
doing.
mean,
I
at this
don't get
point, you
it.
can get them for lower than market value. You know what I mean? Like, because if you believe that's what he can be, and I think that's what most baseball fans think, and most baseball like aficionados think, why wouldn't you give it to him now where he really hasn't proven that he is worth 200 million?
Yeah.
Because then he's gonna really, if he does go out and have a Cy Young caliber season, then you're gonna be in trouble.
Yep, because they don't that's a number that they don't want to go to. So, um it's just so it's maddening with these guys. It really is. But we'll see. But yeah, guys, Bregman's not coming here. Stop it. Just stop doing that to yourselves. Is it well, this is gonna be the year they finally sign someone. They wouldn't sign Teoscar Hernandez, dude. They let Tyler O'Neill walk. Not that he's a little too injury prone, but the guy hit 32 home runs in like 380 at bats.
And we have no right-handed bats.
They have no right-handed bats, so they obviously think that Christian Campbell's going to come up and just save them because he's their big right-handed bat that's ready to come up. And also, can we give a little credit to Heim Bloom? I can't believe that this is coming out of my mouth. Can we give a little credit to Heim Bloom? They have the
No,
second best.
absolutely not.
They have the second best farm system in the majors, dude.
Yeah, and the MVP he traded is gonna
Oh
win,
yeah, I forgot about
gonna
Mookie
win another
Betts.
World Series next
Oh
year.
yeah, that happened 5 years ago, didn't it? We traded a surefire first ballot, probably gonna get like 95% of the vote Hall of Famer in Mookie Betts, but no big deal. Yeah, thanks, Heim Bloom. Appreciate that. Yeah, we can give him his flowers. No.
What was it? Jeter Downs, Connor Wong, and
Alex Verdugo.
Verdugo, who's now for the Yankees. Like,
Alex
no,
Verdugo's a
give that
bum.
guy credit. Never.
Verdugo's a bum. Hey, folks, it's the Terranadome. My name's Scott. He's Josh. Please like, subscribe, leave comments, leave any comments you want in the comments section.
We'll take it all.
I do not censor my comments. You can be negative if you want. You will be chastised for it by the other commenters, but do what you want. So we've hit on almost everything today. I'm going to give you a couple minutes on the Celtics and then we're going to close it out because the Celtics are kind of sort of starting to play a little better, but they're still not at the level that we think they're going to be at. So the Boston Celtics are now 35 and 15. Closing out games in defense still appears to be an issue for them. So I guess my main question is, and then you can work off of this, but what are we seeing that's different than last year's team during the regular season? What is the difference from this year's regular season to last year's?
I think it's really, I don't want to say laziness, but it's kind of like I'd say mix of a championship hangover and like championship fatigue. Like I feel like they just know that they're gonna be there at the end of the year. They're still the third best team in the NBA, like record wise. Like they're
Right.
still right there. And the expectations for this team, obviously, because of how good they are, how talented they are, I think, people just expect them to go out there and just roll over everyone. And to a degree, they probably should. Like last night's game should not have been as close as it was. They're facing the Pelicans. Like the Pelicans aren't going anywhere this year. Like you should be beating up on those teams. And it again, I think it goes back to just not really taking the regular season that seriously. Like I almost feel like they've already clocked out and said, well, we got to focus on that. You know what I mean? They are 6-4 in their last 10, and you said it. They do look better, but still, like, you know, they shouldn't be playing games this close to teams of that caliber.
I would agree, folks. And we're gonna leave it right there on the Celtics. That is Josh. He is the man. And once again, my friend, yeah, there you go. Thanks for coming on the show once again. I'm gonna give you a break after the Super Bowl, though. So,
Ah,
I actually do have other people that want to come on the show. I think you've inspired a movement here. So I do. I've got some people that want to come on. So, um, but thank you as always, my friend. You make the show so much better by being on it. And yeah, right here, yeah. And we will do this. Don't let me push this to the end of the week next week. Although it would be kind of cool to do a Super Bowl preview like the day before. But I think we're gonna do it in the middle of the week next week. I don't know, but every time I say a certain day, it ends up being a different day. So I'm Scott. He's Josh. This is the old Terranadome, and thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, tell your family, tell people even that you don't like if you want. Whatever the case may be, folks. We will see you next week on the Terranadome. Take care.